Meeting to order and jump right into public comment. The board takes public comment on all items in the regular agenda. Public input on a regular agenda item will be taken at its appropriate discussion. Public input on an item not on the agenda or consent agenda may be identified and requested for consideration by the board at this time. The board may request an item to be placed on a future agenda or for a consent agenda item to be moved to the regular agenda for public comment. So at this point in time, I guess I'll take any public comment. Do we have any? Carl? No? None? Okay. Oh, that's right. So we have a new board member, Heather, joining us today. What's your last name, Heather?
Hegwood.
Heather Hegwood?
Hegwood.
Well, thank you so much. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a San Angelo native, third generation San Angeloan, actually, and I have been for 30 years a landscape designer here and in Houston, and I am happy to be on the board.
Well, good. We're
So I
happy
hope
to
I
have
can
you.
help
Yes,
with
ma'am.
ideas.
Perfect. Thanks for coming, Ben. Sorry, we went ahead and got rolling, but we'll keep on going here. We'll jump down into our consent agenda. Consider approving the December 4th, 2024 meeting minutes. I will let everybody check it out, and we'll entertain a motion in a second when everybody's had a chance to look over that.
I'll move that we approve the minutes.
Okay? All right. Any discussion?
I'll second.
Second? Okay, perfect. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, perfect. So we'll jump into number 3, regular agenda, public hearing and comment. Item number 2, discuss park division projects for, is that current year 25? What's CY?
Calendar year.
Calendar, man, I'm usually good at acronyms. Okay. Calendar year 25, and recommend any related matters.
Yes, this being the first of the year, usually Parks and Recreation give updates about things that are going on the past month and looking forward to the next month. This being the first of the year, we thought maybe we'd take a whole year look ahead in Parks and Recreation. So they're going to take turns giving their reports. I'm going to add a few things at the end of Roger's report, and they're going to stay sitting over there.
Perfect.
Okay. I think in your packet, you'll have the list that's a little bit in smaller font, so I had to pull out my cheaters to assist me in this process. But yeah, I'm going to go through each one of these. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the ones that are not highlighted. But if you have any questions along the way, please feel free to ask and we can discuss. We have plenty of time to get through this. So in the first quarter, from January through March, you can see we have a pretty extensive list of things that we plan on working on. The first of which is the Texas Bank Sports Complex. We have a shade structure that we're going to have contracted out for that site. And then in-house, we're going to be working on constructing a storage building that's already been purchased. We've been working with some of the other departments to assist us with getting the pad and the area prepped for it. Currently, we do not have a good structure to house all of our equipment that we use out at the sports complex. This is going to be for that. It's been something we've been wanting to do for several years. We've had other priority items that have come up, playground replacements and things like that. And so we're finally at that place where we can get into this project. We're excited about getting that completed. And again, we'll also be looking at working with a contractor to come in and put a shade structure over close to the playground at that sports complex. At downtown at the skate park, one of the things we're doing is working with our local group that leads the way, Kevin Little and their group, to figure out what might be a good way of improving the skate park area downtown. And so we're going to be basically refurbishing all of the pieces that are in that skate park one at a time. They had some money and funds available that they've shifted over to us for that purpose. And one of those items is going to be actually filling in where the grass area is in the center with concrete, so it gives them a good area to go straight across from one piece to the other that's going through it. We also have the entry sign that's over at Civic League Park. We have been struggling to try to find a vendor, whether local or non-local at this point, to try to take on that project. If you know of a good masonry person, please get with me after the meeting. I'd be interested in knowing, because we have made contact with many trying to just get quotes, get bids going for that project, and it's been extremely difficult. We do have the stone to use for the entry sign. We basically are looking for somebody to come in with those types of skills to actually build that structure that Al Torres had put together conceptually. So that's where we're at with that project. And as you can see, as you get into some of the ones that are not highlighted, these are kind of the more normal things that we do in a given year. Pre-emergent herbicide application, post-emergent application, infill renovations over at the sports complex and at the other sports complexes, soil testing, scoreboard painting, painting facilities at the sports complex. The one highlighted is called phrase mowing, if you're not familiar with that. It's basically a piece of equipment that we use typically once a year that we get contracted out to come in and level the infill lips between the infill clay and the turf area. It tends to get humped up pretty hard if you let it go. And so with that phrase mowing, comes in there and basically levels that out. The grass grows right back through, and it keeps for a surface that allows for drainage as well as good ball roll through that facility. And so that's what phrase mowing is on the list. Another thing that we identified, we have our irrigation controllers out there. We have 3 of them. It runs approximately 96 zones of irrigation at the sports complex. Those irrigation controllers are becoming outdated. We're starting to have problems with them. So we have chose to use available funds, to go in and replace all 3 of those. And so it's going to be a job, but our goal is to start this month and finish by the end of March, whenever we know we'll have to start irrigating that site again. And so we're starting that process. And then you go into tree pruning, some of our typical things that we have, light repairs, things of that nature, deep tine aerification down at the soccer fields, continue on with some of our stump grinding, cane removal and cane control along the river. The next one in yellow would be Brown Park tennis pickleball court resurfacing. We're hoping to start that project this quarter. That particular site at Brown Park has some issues. We went in and tried to get kind of a Band-Aid approach, unfortunately, just to try to get rid of some of the potholes and the chunks that were in that concrete. We got that kind of smoothed over, but it really needs a good resurfacing, so we're going to be working on that 1 court at a time as we move forward. At Lone Wolf Bridge, we've had a tremendous amount of graffiti and vandalism, with primarily graffiti, all throughout that area. And so we have been tasked with going in and repainting over that. We're working with the municipal court. They're going to provide some funds for the paint for their graffiti abatement program. And so we'll be starting that project as well. Let's see, some of the other majors, renovations of irrigation systems. We still have a couple of areas along the river that we need to upgrade our irrigation systems. One of them is at North River Drive, which is basically the area from our office over at 1022 Veterans Memorial Drive to Central in that area. And then we have another area close to Randolph Street between Kids Kingdom and Irving Street that's on the YMCA side that we want to get that irrigation system running as well. We have a lot of trees, cork oak trees and other trees in that area that we want to make sure that we salvage through that. So That's another project that's on our list. We're really close to completing some of the irrigation that's going around the new splash pad over at Unidad Park. We still have one or two zones that we're working on in that, for that project, but that'll be completed, and then I think next fall, we'll start looking at possibly rerouting the main line, that where the shade structure sits. Unfortunately, the main line is run right under that, so we may try to reroute it around. We'll probably look at that as another winter project next fall. And I think I told y'all before, we're calling this the year of the garden, so we're gonna be doing a lot of mulching of our gardens coming up. We've already started the process of not only purchasing plants, but planting plants. We have much more to go. We're hoping to end that project by hopefully April or so and get everything in the ground that we're supposed to. Shifting over to April to June, again, you'll see a lot of these repeated. We just feel like it's going to take longer going through the process. Probably the next thing on the list would be about halfway down, it'd be sodding of the large dog park. One of the things that we noticed, or actually going back in time, when we opened the dog park, one of the struggles we've had is salt conditions in the soil there at the dog park. It makes it extremely difficult for not only trees, but turf grass and things of that nature. So we did some testing, and we tested one of the new turf grass varieties called Tiff Tuff that's actually grown locally at a sod farm. And what we noticed was that it seems to do fine within that environment, even with the salty conditions. And so this last spring or summer, we actually put a few pallets out there and got it to grow in, and everything seems to be going fine. And so for this year, we're going to take that empty spot that you see in the large dog park, and we're going to finish that out with Tiff Tuff come spring and try to give it a full season. I didn't want to go in and sod without knowing what the results may be. And so we're kind of piecemealing this together, but hopefully by the end of the fall next year, we'll know, and hopefully it'll be just fine going throughout that. We'll also be probably either resodding or seeding around the splash pad over at Unidad Park. That's another project that we'll have. Let's see, pickleball court at Meadow Creek Park. I think we discussed this as one of the line items at one point, where it's going to be on our list to go in and try to repaint those courts over at Meadow Creek Park. We have, again, irrigation renovations that we already talked about, Santa Fe Golf Course, continuation really of the bubbler system on the trees there. Moving into July and September, you can see some of the normal things we're doing, aerifying, fertilizing, things of that nature. Depending on where they are or where we're at with the funds available for Santa Rita Park, we'll be looking at the renovations there. And so what we're hoping is that we can be completed with that storage building over at the sports complex and be ready to shift straight into Santa Rita Park and start doing some of the improvements in that area. There is a concrete connection that we're also looking at. If the funds are available, I'm going to try to put a connection basically from the top close to Park Street down to the pavilion at Civic League Park. It would be ADA compatible, and we would basically put a ramp inside the pavilion area so that you can come off of that grassy area and it's not a 3-foot step like it is today. And so what we're trying to do is make that a good connection, that they don't actually have to go down and then come back up and go straight down into the pavilion if they'd like to. Let's see, other things that we're hoping to do, again, if funds are available, I like to make connections from a lot of our sidewalks, ADA connections, to our basketball and tennis courts throughout our park systems. We have noticed that at the present time, there are some areas that do not have that concrete connection to it, and a lot of them are pretty short distances, but I think it'll be an easy fix to try to come in there and make that happen. At the very end, on July, there are some circle beds on Highway 87, north and south, or about midway on 87. We call it the wool cap, that we're going to try to go in and redo that irrigation and start getting plants put into those sites. In October through December, we're getting near the end here. There are some seat wall issues over at the sports complex that we've identified. I'm hoping this year we have a lot of other projects we're doing at the sports complex. Next year, hopefully we can take on that and try to get those repaired throughout. Again, depending on when completion of the East 29th sports complex comes about is when obviously we'll start taking over the maintenance. And so we wanted to list that in there in case they're either near or at completion with that project. And of course, usually in the fall season is when we try to do all of our tree planting, tree purchases, pruning, all those kinds of things. And so that's also listed throughout. We do wildflower planting, and then, Concho Christmas comes around. We're usually doing some assistance with those. And then lastly, there's listed an upgrade gazebo garden irrigation from a manual system to a solar. At the present time, it's basically a manual system. It's a system, but we have to go there to do it. We've had a lot of success with solar controllers in some of our parks already, and so we'll be shifting that area to that type of equipment. And then we'll also, I think I failed to mention over at Kirby Park, once they get to the point of construction for that splash pad, we'll be working with them as well in terms of how we're going to re-irrigate that site and do kind of something similar to what we've done and what we're doing over at Unidad Park. Okay, that lasted a long time. I apologize. Are there any questions that you might have about any of the projects or any of the things? It's a full plate, but this is what the team put together.
I had one quick one. I noticed a lot of Texas Bank Sports Complex. I know they, obviously they put a lot of money towards building that facility, but is there does Texas Bank pay you guys on an annual basis for any type of maintenance, or is that 100% on the Parks
Yeah,
Department?
they have a naming rights contract with the city. and so
Oh,
that
gotcha.
that pays a certain amount
Gotcha.
to the city for those naming rights.
Okay, perfect, just making sure.
I'm curious if, I like your term, the year of the garden. And maybe it's a really good time for Heather to be involved. I am just curious if there's any, if y'all have considered, or there may be areas that I'm not aware of that have, like, using herbs and edible plants, maybe, some fruit
Yeah,
trees.
actually, part of the plant list that we have considers using, and I think has some different types of herbs and things in those, especially for fragrance.
Right, yeah.
As you get through it. So, yeah, Michelle David, one of our supervisors, she's really good about that.
Good, yeah.
And
I mean,
part of the list includes different ones, and we're always open to adding
Yeah.
different components.
I would love to see those
Mm-hmm.
included, yeah.
Sprinkle some lavender throughout the parks?
Yes, yeah, primarily natives that go into our gardens, yes. But I'm not opposed to trying something a little different.
Well, yeah, I mean, anything that smells good is always a positive.
I want to make it native, so the only way to make it native is to try it, so,
That's right.
Thank you, Roger.
okay?
I'm going to tack on to his report, but I just wanted to point out, I mean, this is in addition to their daily work of maintaining all the parks, all the facilities in the parks, so it's a lot. And you notice it seems like there's more in some quarters than others, but That's probably because they're picking up more on their routine daily work during those times. It's a lot of work. My list, I added it. You should have a hard copy of it. It's a one pager. And it does overlap quite a bit with a lot of what Roger has talked about. It's basically major projects, calendar year '25. So these are the projects that I'll be focusing on, and I'm sure I'll add some more to it, especially as I look the next couple of years out, not being here in a couple of years, trying to get some things done, lined up. The Riverbank project, the city council has given us direction to work towards continuation of the bank stabilization from where we stopped, basically below Johnson Dam, where Oak Street is, all the way down as far as we can go, hopefully to Bell Street. So that stretch of that project is being designed now for bank stabilization. I think we're at about 60, 75% done. So we're getting towards the end of the design of that project. Once the design is done, we'll know better what the anticipated costs are. We'll go back to council to have a discussion to see how and if they want to fund that project. And also, in the meantime, we're searching for grants to help pay for that. Youth sports practice area, Roger mentioned it, Al's here too. You can talk about it if you want, yeah. So that project is lined up, it's about to get started.
Good afternoon, Al Torres, construction manager. Like Carl said, we signed contracts with the contractor in December. I've been working on getting permits so that they can get started. There's two different permits. There's a building permit for the restroom building, and then a site permit for everything else, all the grading, the fields, the irrigation, the baseball fields. So I met with the development staff yesterday afternoon, late, and we got all the issues worked out on the site permit. So they've approved all that. I haven't actually seen it, the permit in hand, but they've approved everything. The building permit, the issue there is that they want an engineer seal for the building, but the company won't issue an engineer seal until it's been ordered. But it takes a couple of months for them to build it anyway, so contractor won't get to that point for a couple of months anyway, so that's not an issue. But he'll be able to start right away. Won't be today or tomorrow because of the weather, but I'll meet with him the next day or two to find out what his schedule is to actually start, so.
Thank you, Al. Next one, I'm skipping the non-parks and recreation projects. Santa Rita Park, like Roger had mentioned, the Santa Fe Crossing building, we need to continue and finish our assessment of that building and see what repairs, improvements we want to do and how to fund that. The Kids Kingdom Playground, we've got to start working on its replacement. Need to line that up, make some progress on that. Splash pads, like Roger talked about. Twin Buttes Reservoir Trails, that project was funded a few years ago with some grant funds. We've got to finish it this year, and that's what we need to do. It's basically trail improvements, trail signage, trail heads, mostly for the all-terrain vehicles and the motorcycles. What do you call them? World War II Veterans Memorial, that is getting, the fundraising is continuing with that. I think they're getting close to their end. They're already bringing in some contractors to look at the site and help to figure out through the design what they think it is going to cost so they can raise enough money for that. But I think that should get implemented this year. The Parkland Dedication Ordinance, keep waiting to put it on the agenda when the final draft is ready. We had a meeting this week to continue to talk about it, and hopefully we can put it on the agenda for next month. The board has discussed and seen the earlier version of it. I guess that was almost 2 summers ago, but it's evolved a little bit, and we've added some new board members, so we need y'all to look at it again to make sure it's headed the direction you'd like it to go. Got to update some leases and agreements. Western Little League Airport lease, Vessel Church, Santa Fe, at Santa Fe Crossing, the lease with the Corps of Engineers for the soccer complex and the 29th Street area, is getting renewed. And the Texas Bank Sports Complex naming rights agreement is coming up for renewal. Let's see. And then river wayfinding, we've had a couple of discussions about that. You know about that. One thing within, if not this year, next year, I want to do a complete policies review of all the different policies we have in parks and recreation and bring some of that to the board for review, discussion, updating. And then also the BMX course that was going to be part of the 29th Street complex. And I've talked to Randy recently about this again. I still want to try to line that up for Hot Slough Park at the lake. That does need to go through the process, but I want to make sure the users think that's an adequate site and want to work with the city to develop it at that location. And at the end, it would have to be a lease that goes to council for their approval. I think that's it for my updates. We'll do recreation. Unless you have any questions.
Major projects. I didn't see anything about the Concho Mail Route on here. I assume that's coming as well.
We've got to get it cleared with it. You're messing with me.
Someday that's going to be a major project. I'm just kidding. That's
Through
okay.
the historic commissions. Good with it. Are we ready to move forward, or
Yes.
any
Yeah.
questions or comments? Okay.
Got to get Carl some extra steps. That's the whole goal. Jesse?
Yes, so on the recreation side, there's going by quarter. So in Q1, starting with youth sports, we have a youth basketball preseason tournament, and that actually goes on this weekend. 51 teams are participating. What makes basketball different compared to youth football is, and youth track, is instead of being co-ed, things are broken up by male and female for the tournament age divisions. That's going on there. So they'll use some ISD gyms, and then the north side, south side, and Carl Ray. North side heater we just got going as of an hour ago. So that's going to be up and good for the tournament and for the season and practices. So everything will be going there. Starting that next week is the actual basketball season. We've had 95 teams for sure that are involved in our season. And then Fridays is going to be our Pee Wee games, and then Saturdays is all of our other age groups. So Fridays, South Side only, and Saturdays will be all of our other age groups playing. And then the youth basketball end of the season tournament. And then after the end of the season tournament, if they want to, there's a TAF state basketball tournament where they can travel and go play as well. And then on the senior side, we have our senior center Valentine's Day dance that they're going to do. So the second week of February, they have dance. It's going to be at the 618. So just right over by our Santa Fe Crossing building is where that will be. And then during our night of date night, which is that first week of March, that Thursday will be the senior night option where they'll go during the day to have their dance. And then back to the youth activities is our family nights for our dance, our date nights, that Monday through Thursday, that first week of March is going to be going on. It's Let the Good Times Roll is the theme, so Mardi Gras theme. This year, instead of having a catered night the last night, we're switching that to be the same format as the rest of them, as it's going to be the dance, activities going on. Reason being is just our first 3 nights are fill up pretty quick, so it gives us room to accommodate more people. What's going to make that fourth night unique is Monday and Wednesday is daddy-daughter, Tuesday is mother-son, Thursday, it doesn't matter what combination. You get to come. So cool thing is, so if you're a mom and dad who wants to bring a kids, or if you are a mom who wants to take your daughter, Thursday, you pick whatever you want to do there. Other family event news is starting in March, we're going to be doing a movie in the park at Unidad with soft opening of splash pad. We want to do the same thing with Kirby Park once that splash pad opens. I don't want to be limited to just splash pads, so if there's any other parks y'all would be interested in us hosting a event at that y'all think would go over well, or a community need, more than up for it, just need time to plan it and to execute it, but we would love to do it.
Are you wanting to do movie nights like continue the movie night theme or?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like a movie night in particular. For example, a different group put it on, not the city, but in December at Kirby Park, they had Santa and stuff out there in a game truck. I mean, there's different options and themes. Just movie night just seemed like it'd be a
Yeah,
good fit.
I think that's a great
We'll,
idea.
The format will be is we'll have the splash pad open for a little bit, and then some food trucks and like something like Kona Ice snow cones and maybe kettle corns to grab a movie. And after the sun goes down, then start the movie. So right now I'm working on getting the licensing for the animated Little Mermaid. So getting that done. And so once we get all that approved, we'll get it all marketed and all that.
Yeah, great idea.
But again, we want to continue doing stuff like that in the community. Yes, we have some older buildings for some of the stuff that we do, but we have really, thanks to people like Roger and Mario, we have really nice parks and outside stuff to really go do things at. So just really utilizing those to put on some community events.
So like north side and south side, is that like the Boys and Girls Club, that area?
So
facility?
South Side is right next to the Boys and Girls Club.
So separate next to it? Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
Yes, it
Nice.
is, yes. Yes, people get mixed up all the time. The confusing thing is the elementary school that's right over there too will have basketball practices for another league going on there, so
Oh,
people get mixed up of where to go,
Gotcha.
because they all kind of blend in together right there.
Cool.
On the adult sports side, we'll have adult volleyball and softball registration beginning at the end of the month, and then the season will start in March. We'll be having adult softball tournaments going on as well once we get into the March area, and then same thing with small towns baseball tournaments. Also in March, we'll be opening up late gates. How those are run might be a little bit different this year, but all that's getting worked out, but for sure they'll be open. Going over the Q2, on the youth sports side, summer track and summer flag football will be going on. Summer track is they'll meet, we'll have a couple of coaches. The main thing we want to change on summer track is how it's marketed on what's going on, because it's different than other sports in the sense of you don't have several teams and a coach for each team. It is, you have a couple of coaches and you're one team working together. We had practices going on Monday through Friday for most age groups, and for the Pee Wee division, it's Monday through Wednesday. So they train for the 50-yard dash for their meets. So that's the event that they do. So they'll go out there, do some activities. Yes, they do running drills, but then they do some playtime as well as they're real little. So it's the concepts that will help them with their track meet, but not making it more fun and interactive. And then with on the distance running and sprint side, it'll be your more traditional track training format. And then we really want to market, hey, we don't have pole vault or anything like that in terms of instructor. If you're someone who, hey, mom and dad's able to coach you on that, or someone else, but just to really market, like, this is what we're really tailored to, is the sprints and running events. If you want to go train for the jumps, you can after practice, but this is the format. And then structuring it to where maybe one day a week, yes, because we have hundreds of kids, so not everyone shows up to the same day of the week is the problem in terms of getting all the communication out. So maybe, all right, Mondays is where there'll be someone here saying, this is the layout, give you a long spiel, and then after that, you just kind of get, as you go and talk to coach, and then you have to download the app. So we really want to market on our website, you need to have this app to be getting all the messages. We're not going to, hey, email you because you like email, text you because you only do text. It's, if you're going to be part of this track program, you do this app. Summer flag football will still be on Thursdays, going on there at the sports complex, going on at nights. Also, splash pad will be full on opening Q2. So as I was saying, starting in March, we'll have things like the movie nights at Unidad, just to, as a soft opening. We just really want to market, hey, we're here. But once we get to April, we're full force open every day of the week. Cool thing about the splash pad being open every day of the week is even on Mondays when everything's shut down, you still have the splash pad to go do something. Hence why also we want to do things like the movie night on Mondays, since that tends to be when everything else is shut down. On the adult sports side, we'll Another adult volleyball and adult softball league will be going on, as well as adult softball tournaments. In terms of youth and family programming that's not a sport, summer day camp will be going on starting in May, and then the municipal pool will be open starting on Memorial Day weekend. Going to Q3, we'll have our July 3rd pool party again, so just to go with the fireworks. We'll do what we did this past year, if it's $10 per person to go out there, cap of 400 people, simply because of just how crowded it gets, and that's the max, we're just max capacity for safety, and also that teeters on the point of too many people just being pulled to be able to have fun in our pool. But it'll be the format of you come and swim, have a good time, and then as the fireworks start getting ready to go, we'll close the slide and all that, and everyone can just watch the fireworks from the pool or the side of the pool. Summer track state meet will be going on then as well. So during summer track, you can go and qualify for our state meet. Last year, we had several people qualify, and we had a few state champions. So San Angelo represents really well at our TAF meets. Summer flag football, which is our league, it's not with TAF, but we'll have playoffs then at the complex. Pool closes for summer on Labor Day. Fall flag football begins in Q3 as well, which those are on Saturdays, all the games going on. We'll have a preseason tournament as well. Open gym for volleyball. So what we're going to do in Q3 is put a little bit more emphasis on putting on our own tournament, and we'll be doing that some throughout the year, but with fall flag football taking up the bulk of our sports complex slots, we'll probably try and put on a few midnight madnesses and things of our own. We tend to make more money off of our own tournaments compared to when someone else runs a tournament. You know, we get pennies and maybe don't even make our money back on when we let someone else run it, but when we do our own, it works out well. So we're going to be really monitoring just how some of the stuff's going on out there at the complex and what we need to do just to help it thrive better. Like Mario and Roger and their team put a lot of work into making that look nice, so we really want to utilize it to its fullest potential and just kind of navigate what that looks like. Fall on the senior side, we'll have our fall senior dance going on. We did that this year. We did a Western theme. That went really well. We had a live band who traveled from San Antonio, and they did a really good job. You know, I had to triple check with them. It's like, you do know we're in San Angelo, not San Antonio. And they came out, they gave us a really good price. And so we're looking to do something similar again, but just really aim to, as we just keep building on those activities. And then I know I've mentioned a few events on the senior side. This is going to be going on while throughout the year, Monday through Friday. Sam and Carlos to make sure our seniors have a nutrition plan going on at the Santa Fe in our cafeteria area back there, as well as doing senior activities on both. We'll have people doing card games, line dancing, and it's really, really good stuff for our seniors. So we hope that these senior events in the evenings might get people who wouldn't normally come during the day and meet some new people, and maybe come to some of our events that go on every day for our seniors and maybe join our nutrition program.
Do you have to be a senior to participate in the line dancing?
Yes, it's catered towards
Oh.
towards them, but I am open for running an adult night line dancing for couples, or if y'all want date nights and
Asking
stuff
for a
like that as
friend,
well.
that's all, so that's okay. Just kidding.
And then Lake Gates closes for the season starting Labor Day. Q4, so our splash pad, it's going to open up sooner than the municipal pool and then stay open later than the pool does. So in October, the splash pad will close for the year. That gives us time to also properly winterize and all that. We did a lot of learning with that, and we'll find out once we're able to open up how well that went. So when we want to start getting it prepped and plenty of time just to learn some of the kinks that go with running this type of splash pad that we have, especially with Kirby Park opening up. So we really, if we can master that first one, then we'll be good to go for both of them, since they'll be built pretty similar. With the city, partnered with the city, and Discover San Angelo Trunk or Treat will be happening again. So fall family events, we want to be a bigger participant in that, providing activities. Fall flag football tournament will be going on, as well as the Taft State tournament. And then also in flag football news, and at the end of fall towards winter, is the adult flag football tournament. The host site changes this past year. We hosted it. We're trying to kind of really rally to host that one multiple years, since we don't have the indoor facility to host basketball tournaments for youth or adults for Taft. But we do have, because of the sports complex, we're able to really accommodate those state outdoor tournaments. So we'd like to just, if we can keep that, even if it's every other year type deal instead of every few years, because it just, again, we really want people to know about what we do at the complex. And when you have people traveling from other cities, that means that they're staying in a hotel, So we get, the city as a whole benefits rather than just a program or two.
Heads in beds.
Yes.
Jesse, folks may not know what TAF is, so could you?
Yes, Texas Amateur Athletic Federation. So with TAF, we're a big part of them, and we actually, anytime they host a state, even if it's in Dallas, Brownsville, whatever, St. Angelo has a substantial turnout, where a substantial percentage of the teams are out there. So even if we're in the Dallas area, they might have 5 or 10 teams from up there, whereas we'll have the same or more. That's one thing we're trying to fix as well, is trying to contact other cities of, like, just, especially when we're hosting something, of come on out, be a part of this. It does I was actually part of it as a kid. I did summer track, and then I even coached it when I worked at the Y. So, TAF has a lot of really good programs, and it's another way for parents to get involved with their kids and communities to rally. You even have churches putting teams together. It's neat what they do. Senior Thanksgiving lunch, that's our big lunch. So every day during the week, our nutrition program has a lunch, but the Thanksgiving one is huge. We actually switched that from being over at the Santa Fe to the 618 during that day because of how many people show up to it. And that's going to be, obviously Thanksgiving themed. So you have your turkey and dressing and your pie, all that good stuff. And just so you know, with our nutrition program, we just charge $3 a meal for our seniors who sign up for the program to be a part of it. And then if they bring a guest, it's $6. So, like, example would be if my mom or grandmother was part of the program and I wanted to go eat lunch with them, it only cost me $6 to go eat a meal with them. So very affordable option to go and do. And then we'll have our turkey shoot free throw contest. That's our free throw contest where you can win a turkey, and then second and third place win a pie. Or if you already have a turkey, we buy extra pies so that if someone would rather have a pie instead. We are open for if y'all have any ideas for things like that. We have the facilities, so if y'all could think of anything along those lines, that'd be good for either, fall or summer. We'll put it on. The other senior center Christmas bazaar. So what they'll do is they'll get a couple of vendors, and then our seniors, especially our sewing group, they sew stuff throughout the year, and then they sell it at Santa Fe, but they really showcase it. We're trying to make some tweaks just to get a little bit more turnout for them during that time. What's not on here, which was in discussion, but we're going to do it, is, so not necessarily trying to compete with anybody else, but just to bring more awareness to our programs at younger ages, is to try and funnel people into some of our youth programming, is to start doing some parent-child classes. So late spring, early summer, we're looking to add a parent-child basketball. So probably do like on a Tuesday during the day or early evening. So just kind of, I'll do a feel of when people do nap times and stuff. It's a program I ran when I was with the YMCA. It's just kind of just a soft introduction to sports. It's a good way to get parents comfortable with coaching, to where once you get to that 3-year-old age group, it's like, hey, would you be interested in coaching? And they're like, I've been around it now, so I feel comfortable with these kids, and make a team. And on the sports side, so if you do like a parent-child yoga or gymnastics, it's mostly going to be mom and kid. When you add the sports side, you get a little bit more dads willing to kind of participate and show up and be there too. So that's just the other thing we're looking at doing there. So that'll be one of the bigger projects that we're going to be adding as well. But that's all I got on the recreation side, unless you have any questions.
Did we skip over the Grinch slow pitch? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so it's a group, they put on these tournaments, and it's basically softball with a different set of rules. So there's different ways of scoring your points. So it's just more of a fun way of putting on a tournament.
Do they wear like a Grinch costume, or is it?
No,
that's what
no,
it's called?
they don't.
Okay.
They don't. Mario, do you happen to have any backstory for why it's called the Grinch Tournament? Okay, yeah. So it's
I noticed it wasn't in December, and so I was like, this is odd. Let's ask about this.
I think Mary Ann Vasquez named it. At the time, I don't think we had any tournaments during that time of the year. So it was a Christmas tournament. Let's start one. The Grinch is during the time of Christmas, so I think that's how it happened.
I like
Yep.
it. Cool.
Who handles the, isn't there like a fishing tournament or something downtown? Is that part of our recreation department?
Yes, that's ours. Is it not on our list?
I didn't put it on our list, but yes, we do
Yeah,
the fishing.
it's in
during-
June.
Yeah, it's around that time
Like
of
the
start of
first
summer.
Saturday in June.
Yep. I want to say that happened right before I started, but I think Sean put it on. He was in charge of it, but yes, we do the
I know,
fishing derby.
I feel like my kids have missed it in the past, and I want to make sure that we
Yeah,
don't
it
miss
should,
it
it should be
this
on
year.
there.
Yes,
Okay.
but yes, we'll be having that as well.
Okay.
Good questions. Good reports, guys. You got a lot coming. That's a good deal. Carl's got something.
Well, I'm just waiting for the next item, if you want to move forward.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't know if
So,
any more questions?
everybody good? Everybody good? Number 3, discuss Recreation Division programs, activities, and events for calendar year 25. Recommend any related matters. That's what we did, right?
Yes.
Okay. Number 4, consider future agenda items and discuss the next meeting date.
Next meeting date, Wednesday, February 5, 3:30 PM. We'll probably be back at the East Mezzanine at City Hall. We do have several items that are coming up. So the Parkland dedication ordinance, like I mentioned earlier, hopefully we'll have an update on the Santa Rita project. We have a meeting on the 15th of this month. We have elections for chair and vice chair. We have the annual review of the Mountain View Skate Park. And then, if not the next meeting, the following meeting, I want to revisit the old Kiwanis Park site, Live Oak, Beauregard, and A&M. It's open space now. It's classified as open space. It used to be a park. We got downgraded to open space in the recession 2008, 2009. We were looking at doing some improvements a couple of years ago, maybe, and we kind of got the word, let's not take on any new responsibilities, new projects. I think the time may be right to revisit it again, hopefully line it up for the future. I always thought it'd be a great location for like a mini arboretum with the trail. It's a nice green space. So,
Where is
If I
it,
don't-
where is it located?
where's it?
Where is it located?
Live Oak, as you go down Live Oak, I guess at the first light, as you're heading to HEB, it's like the first light before you get to HEB. So Beauregard kind of comes to a point right there with Beauregard, Live Oak, and A&M.
Yeah, okay.
What's that green space there? Avenue N? Oh, yeah, I said Live Oak, Avenue N.
Yeah,
Just south of that.
okay.
So if I don't put it on next month's agenda, I'll put it on the following. Just to talk about it. So, we have things coming up.
The only other thing I was going to mention, for those on the foundation committee, I have been terrible at setting a date, but I know Mondays is kind of what we shot for, so Monday, January 27th might be a day that we shoot out to everybody on the committee, on the board. So here recently, we started a San Angelo Parks Foundation, so that like, similar like Fort Concho's foundation, they can pay for things that not necessarily the city would pay for or something like that. We could fundraise and then pay for gunpowder or mules or hay or whatever it was that the city wouldn't pay for or something like that. So we, as a parks commission kind of started, or board, we kind of started the idea of, we know we need to revamp Kids Kingdom as just an example one. What better way to have a foundation account to fundraise for and funnel money into to pay for all that stuff. So that's kind of what that is. But Heather, you're welcome to join us and be a part of the committee. We'd love to have you. We've got 4 or 5 members on this board on that committee. So it's a fun deal. But I'll make sure I get your email as well and get you on the list. But yeah, we got that coming up. But shooting for the January 27th, I think the main goal when we started this project this time last year was like, have an account, have a foundation set up before San Angelo Gives 2025. So first Tuesday in May, is that right? Was kind of our goal, and so just trying to make sure we get to that goal and all that stuff, so.
And the notice went out this week from the San Angelo Area Foundation that they're starting up all the background work. If you want to participate in San Angelo Gives, they open up the process.
Nice, awesome. So yeah, we need to talk through all
Yeah.
that stuff, make sure we're on there. Okay? What else do I have?
Can I ask a question? There we go. Turn that on.
Sure.
I know you two are busy, but can I set up meetings so I don't feel like I walked in the middle of a play and see some of these things, the projects that you
Yes,
have?
and we can set up a meeting and talk. We just haven't done it because
Just-
we're in the holidays
Just-
and
Yeah, just
things were,
show me.
yeah.
So I
Yes, let's
can
set
kind of
that
get
up.
Caught up. Okay. Let's see. Okay.
Perfect. That way, by, next meeting, when we vote you as chairman of this board, you'll kind of know what's going on. Perfect. No, that's good. Well, what'd you think, Heather? Did you have any fun with it? You like it? It's a fun group. Got a lot going on. Parks, Rec, Carl, Al, Mario, everybody. I noticed we had a guest that walked in. Was there anything
He's
you wanted to
staff.
add? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't see.
Jason Campbell, he's in charge of all the sports complexes,
Awesome. Well,
the
thanks,
maintenance.
Jason. Good to have you. Thanks for all your help. But anything else we need to hit on before we adjourn? Got the Concho mail route in the minutes. That's going to be a major project. Just making sure that's being said. But with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I motion we adjourn.
Second? I'll second. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. With that, we are adjourned. Thanks, guys.